You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip from Celebrity Rehab. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Celebrity Rehab.
Rehab. That's apparently how the phone is answered over at Rehab.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, ring, ring, Rehab.
Yes, and you know what? At no protocol, you wouldn't be like, hey, Pasadena Recovery Center, how may I help you? This is Shelly speaking.
Just Rehab.
Rehab.
Yeah. Generic,
I love that.
very generic.
So, for those of you who are avid listeners of AFTERBUZZ TV, we have a format that you may not be aware of, but we do. But I figured let's get into news and gossip right off the bat.
Look at that.
Changing things up.
Ooh, keeping us on our toes.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
What's the news?
Amy Winehouse.
Oh, yes.
The death. For those of you who live under a rock, Amy Winehouse is dead.
Passed away. Our hearts go out to her family and her friends and her fans.
27?
27 years old.
Not 28, 27?
27.
27.
27.
Okay. Going on
life.
28. Could have been going on 28.
Yeah. Tragic, really. I mean, she had so much to offer. It did so much in the few years that she had here on this planet. But
Jess, can you speak to this? By the way, it's only, so for tonight's episode, it's only John Comerford. Filling in for the Macedo twins is Ben Bottomley.
Ooh,
I'm
filling in for the twins.
I'm not going to say anything. Never mind.
And, of course, me, Phil
call.
Svitek, and, of course, DJ Jesse Jenny in the booth. Now, it sucks because had we had the twins here, I feel like they could speak to this point because they are wonderful musicians. They actually love Amy a lot. Loved.
Singer-songwriters themselves.
So, Jesse, I mean, your thoughts on this development?
Well, I actually really love Amy Winehouse also a lot. But it is kind of something that everybody was waiting to happen.
What do you mean waiting to happen?
Well, it's not really a surprise to anybody.
Waiting
it's
to
not,
happen?
Not even that it's it's not a surprise. I mean, I remember she's actually for the most part been kind of quiet in the past year and a half. But before that, I remember watching
rehab. Yeah.
And I thought she was kind of doing almost better than before, but I know she had just started slipping up again. I saw in the papers, but I mean, I've seen performances of her taking Coke bags out of her hair and bumping them on stage, and it's just when you're not surrounded by the right people, and people are using you and putting out records and making you perform when you're not healthy in these types of situations, you need to have somebody step in. And I think when even the labels, I know you can probably put a lot of the blame on the labels, but she just wasn't surrounded by the right people, and the people who were in her life were also into the same situations that she was into, and yeah, just a lot of depression, a lot of negativity surrounding her life, which is where her music comes from. It's just really sad that.
By the way,
like this.
Well, that's a big theme. And by the way, that is your AFTERBUZZ TV news and gossip for July 24th, 2011. That seems to be a theme of tonight's episode, especially with our boy Michael Lohan and the people in his life.
Yeah.
But by the way, you know, if you can't deal with being a celebrity, we have a recommendation.
Nice
Buy Marie
segue.
Menounos' book, The Every Girl's Guide to Life. She's 11 years now in the business. not necessarily perfect in how to deal with it, but obviously she hasn't turned to drugs yet.
Yet.
So
that's a good thing. She's still got time.
I think it's coming, though.
Let's not say that. I've gotten in trouble for my views.
Herein are those of the host only,
Yes.
do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
So, although if you do listen to her Breaking Bad episode, she is gonna try to turn to.
Right, yeah.
You can listen to what she says. I'm not even gonna say it.
She's
if
the
you want to
least
know what
likely
she's
person to turn to drugs. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
In all truth, yes.
Yes, exactly. Anyways, so yes, very tragic. Obviously not necessarily related to the show, but she is a celebrity.
Yeah.
She was, quote, in some sort of rehab or not in rehab, or that was
she
the
was
problem.
in and out, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
So, kind of news and gossip for us there. Anyway, this episode, by the way, we have to, for those of you who are watching us, and if you're just listening, well, then sorry. We have new panels here. The new studio is looking a lot better now. It's not fully 100% done yet. We're going to add some lights behind these bad boys, so it'll be a lot brighter. We're going to change the red in the front on the wide shot to be the same as this. So we are making changes, but we wanted to kind of show you, you know.
We are a work in progress. Every week there's something new happening over at AfterBuzz.
Yes, and it's actually due to a lot of the fan contribution that we get.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we thank you a lot. Anyways, on to the episode. We pick up where we left off with last week's cliffhanger.
With Steve storming out.
Yes.
I love
because
that.
of the phone.
Because of the phone.
Because he couldn't. Because he wanted his phone.
That's right. He wanted his phone. Forget it. I don't need my phone. But I mean, this guy, when he was storming out, and then comes, I'm not going. I'm not going.
I mean, that kind of angers me because that seems to happen a lot on these.
Yeah.
And not just. I'm not even gonna blame. I'm not gonna say Celebrity Rehab. I'm just gonna say reality TV in general. It happens when we've been watching Will, whereas that's another podcast that we do. Us three actually, and a lot of times they end with a huge cliffhanger, and then within the next 2 minutes of the next episode, it's all good.
Yeah. That's just the nature of the beast of reality TV. That's what I always do. They do the promo, they do the big thing. Oh my God, what's gonna happen next? So you tune in, and we tune in. So.
Yeah, I'd tune in anyway, but
but I don't know that they have to make a big deal of it. What I loved about it though is, first of all, I think what Shelley had to say to him actually, I think at some point actually finally got into him about you being compulsive and all that other stuff, because he decided to come back. I just love that he was just I'm just leaving, and he storms out and he turns around and goes, I'm not leaving. It's like, does this guy have OCD as well? Is he? I mean, not OCD. Is he bipolar?
I mean, I think when you're a drug addict, I think. Although you may not be necessarily diagnosed with bipolar, you have those tendencies.
Because then he was all just, hey, and then he's apologizing to people. Hey, I'm sorry, I did the rest.
I love the meeting with him, Drew.
He apologized to the cameraman, though. That's what I loved. He turns to the camera and goes, hey, I'm sorry.
No, I think that was for the fans. He knew he was on camera. He knows how to play.
I know. I just loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and the one guy he didn't shake, Mr. Sharp's hand, the psychiatrist.
Oh, he didn't?
No, remember? Or actually, he shakes his hand. Oh, I'm sorry. So he hugs Dr. Drew. He hugs Shelley. As he's hugging Shelley, he reaches the hand out to shake
the other guy's hand.
Yeah.
And then when he goes into the meeting the next day, he's just gives Drew a big hug from behind. He's like, hey, everything's good. I'm happy.
You know what? He had a revelation, an epiphany.
I guess he did, yeah.
He had a Joycean epiphany.
Just can't handle bamboozlers. Hey, I'm okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then he apologized to Amy.
Yeah, thank God. I mean, good for him. He didn't. It shouldn't have ever gone that far, but at least he owned up to it and apologized for it. That was nice.
And you know what? Now she's finally being honest too.
Well, she started to be, if you remember, because they were pressing her when he left. Steve left. They were pressing her about being honest.
So he was right.
Was right about what?
So if he hadn't done that, she wouldn't have been honest. Congratulations, Steven. You won.
I think she would have been honest. I think it accelerated it because once Steve was out of the picture, it allowed everybody else to come in and say, well, here are these things that you might want to address and acknowledge and all that other stuff. Now, would it have happened if Steve was there? Maybe, maybe not. But the fact that he was out created the space for that to happen.
But the fact that he yelled.
Yelling, I don't know. I don't know if it had anything to do with it. He's out.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I don't think she would have felt safe or comfortable enough to say any of that if him still in the room. She felt too attacked by him. She was very defensive when he was in the room.
But she realized he was right. She should just say she's an alcoholic.
Okay. She should have. But again...
When you're right, you're right. And sometimes, you know what? It's like the quote from Indiana Jones. You lost today, kid. But that doesn't mean you have to like it. So, Amy, you lost today, kid. So just admit that you're an alcoholic.
Yeah,
which you did. So there you go.
But I'm saying that he wasted those days where he could have come at it totally differently and wouldn't have shut her down, closed her off, and made it harder for her to be acknowledging of it.
All right, well, yeah. Well, now Steve's all about the hugging method, so congratulations.
Yeah,
he changed his way.
Way more effective. So she won.
I guess. I
think they both won. They both got what they wanted out of it.
Yeah.
He wanted her to be honest, and she wanted him to back off and apologize. And okay, everybody got what they wanted. Nice. Hey, move on.
And move on we do to Bai Ling.
Bai Ling, wow. Okay, finally we get to see some backstory of Bai Ling. And now I start to go, okay, I'm really sorry for all that crap I said.
But, I mean, you feel sorry, but at the end of the yeah.
It still annoys the crap out of me, her going up on the roof and all that other nonsense. But, and I don't know if, one doesn't really equate the other one to me, but it just drives me crazy when people do all that special stuff. They're a special case. Look at me. Oh, I'm this and I'm that.
Well, she's calling for attention.
Yeah, exactly. And we all have issues. We all have problems. We don't all climb the roof and do all that other nonsense. So. But her story's terrible, and it's tragic, and I feel horrible for her.
Ben, your thoughts on Bai Ling? I mean, Ben's actually 15, so he doesn't get to watch the show that much because I don't think he's allowed to. I think we broke some. We broke his father's rules.
We might be in trouble.
No, well, the show's PG-14, so
is it?
We're good there.
You know, I never watched the show, so I don't know like any of their backstories or anything.
Well, you heard Bai Ling's. I mean, your thoughts on that. Your thoughts on her in general.
Well,
have you seen her in any movies, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know her
previously.
Yeah, and I do feel sorry for her.
Here's the big butt.
I'm just trying not to
be rude.
Well, no, not. Okay, I don't know what to say because I really want to make fun of everything about this, but I don't think you guys...
just the show or just Bai Ling?
No, not
everybody
not
in the show.
Her, but yeah,
everybody in the show. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but no, I do feel sorry for her.
So you want to make fun of it because it's worth making fun of it, but you also realize the human tragedy behind all that.
Yes. So I'm very conflicted.
All right.
Okay, so if there weren't any human tragedy going on here, what would you make fun of first?
I'm not. No.
John, can you? I mean, going back to when you were 15, and I'll try to do the same.
Okay.
Was this a common issue that 15-year-old boys have to deal with the confliction of, do I really care? Or is this just hilariously funny despite that?
Well, yeah. Well, how do I say this? Having grown up in an environment where having to deal with addiction, I had to laugh. I had to make fun of it in order to help me walk through it. So, yeah, for me, it's worth making fun of. Because I think you can make fun without really, you're not really denigrating the person. I mean, I'm sure people will take it that way sometimes. And maybe we are. I don't mean to, but some of it is hysterical. And life sometimes is tragic and funny at the same time, if you ask me.
Fair enough. Good answer. I mean, it's unfortunate we don't have Courtney Stewart here with us. She did season 4 of Celebrity Rehab with us, and she had a great way of putting it where, like, I'm not even going to try to quote her or paraphrase her because it's going to be horrendous.
I want to know what you said now.
No, well, she said...
Let's get her on the phone.
Well, we actually have a phone call.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Great. We have time for
hello, caller.
Hey, hey.
Is this the Macedos?
How are you?
To what do we owe the pleasure of this phone call?
I know. Yeah, I realized
we're really drunk right now.
I'm supposed to be somewhere. I think I'm supposed to be somewhere. And then
you guys sound not only like twins right now, you guys sound like you're quadruplets because you're just Yeah, the chat
You
back
sound
and forth.
like Mike Lohan's girlfriend.
Oh, what a mess. What a mess to have. She was.
Wasn't she great? Get her on the show. I want to see her.
She's there next week.
I can't wait.
We'll talk about that. But before we get to Michael Lohan, what are your thoughts on Bai Ling and her story? We didn't really get to the serious part. We're still analyzing the comedic side of this.
Exactly.
But
tell us how much you laughed.
Well, okay, I know that John over there isn't Bai Ling's biggest fan. Well, I feel like a lot was edited out of that.
Yeah, probably.
And what the Chinese Liberation Army? Like, I was kind of confused. That was really intense. You know what was up with that?
you know what? All right.
Well,
I'm just going to go. It's funny you say that was intense because you're like the kid in high school when the English teacher asked, okay, what did you guys think of this passage? I thought it was interesting. Well, congratulations! You thought it was interesting! Do you have anything more to add?
Okay.
Oh my God! I'm just mad. That was intense. That was intense. All right, how does that? Yep. Everyone go ahead. Say that was intense. What's that?
You need to take a few breaths. Stop taking your tequila shots tonight.
I'm calmed down.
Yeah, you need to calm that ass down. Because, listen,
Okay. Wow.
I'm not sedative.
All right. Anyone have an
was not expecting that.
No.
Anyone have an
Yeah,
opinion on Bai Ling? That is not. That's intense.
Oh, really? Because, sorry. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I can't have the opinion that you
Okay.
want me to
Rather
have.
than getting into a meta communication treatment here, well, let's just talk about Bai Ling. So beyond that it was intense or anything like that, did you guys? I know you guys had already were feeling for her in terms of her human story and the effect it has. Did this deepen your sense of compassion for her? Did you kind of go, yeah, I already knew this? What was your feeling about it once you started hearing her story?
Nothing surprised me. I was kind of trying to figure out the whole Chinese Liberation Army thing and where these men came from that picked her up or something.
They're generals in the army.
Generals in the army,
Yeah.
and she was in Tibet. It was the Chinese Liberation Army in Tibet. Right. And as a child, they enlist children as well as older men in that army, and they were training the children.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And I just want to say, I knew that there was so much more beneath her,
Right.
just on the surface, that it was just going to come out.
Yeah.
So it didn't surprise me.
Right.
But it was very powerful,
Yeah.
and I'm happy, and she obviously has a lot more to go.
Right.
Oh, my God.
I think everybody sensed that there was something more and that it was going to be tragic, and you knew it was going to come out eventually. And kudos to them if they edited that, because I think that was necessary. And
I agree.
good for
I thought it
her
was
that
really
she's finally
interesting.
dealing with it. But
I thought it
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that what Drew said at the end there about how she's now she's been so damaged by this that she's identifying with her tormentor.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, that right there, that's a lot of stuff to have to deal with.
Oh, by the way, I mean,
I love how Dr. Drew is talking to Bai Ling, and he was like, "Really, you forgive him? You feel compassion for him?" And she's like, "Yeah,
yeah,
yeah." And obviously,
by the way, I mean, is that what makes her? Is that why she went into acting? Because as an actor, you have to. I mean, if you, let's say, for
it's a good escape.
If you're playing Adolf Hitler, okay, you're not going to look at him like, okay, I'm playing Adolf. You have to find the humanity within Adolf Hitler, and if you can do that, you're an amazing actor. So she's, what's that?
Yeah. Is that Phil? That's you talking?
Yes, that's Phil talking.
Why are you talking about that, Phil? Has nothing to do with it.
No, because here's the thing.
He's talking about her acting ability and why she went into acting, because of the tragedy that she has. See, because I think a lot of people who have had tragedy in their lives find ways to cope. Becoming an actress is a way to escape. You can be other people rather than have to be with yourself. And I think that if she's gone through that tragedy, she may not want to be herself, so therefore acting is the escape.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that's what's happened, but a lot of actors do that.
Yeah, and you know what? When she was saying her story, I was thinking that's probably part of the reason why she's such an amazing actress, because she has experienced such a depth of this like powerful thing that, I mean, it was just insane. Like I have so much respect for her.
Well, Ben, I'm not familiar with her movies. If the rest of you are, feel free to jump in, but I'm going to ask Ben specifically because he said he is. What movies has she taken? What types of roles does she play?
I only saw one.
Okay.
It was called Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
Okay, I've seen that one. Which one is she?
Let's see. Okay, now that I think about it, I'm trying to make sure that it is, in fact, her. I think it is. She was
Jess, can you IMDb that? Let us know.
Are you getting her confused with Angelina Jolie? Because...
Wow. No, Phil, she's the Asian one.
Yeah.
Oh,
she was.
Thank you for narrowing that down.
She was like,
there's only a billion of them.
I've never seen that movie. Wow.
Wait,
I just want to say Kate Major's on the screen right now being a mess and a half. She's disgusting.
So she's disgusting.
Her character was the mysterious woman.
Ooh. Well, she is mysterious.
Yeah.
She was also in Star Wars Episode 3.
Boring.
Southland Tales, which was a great movie.
Okay.
That got mixed reviews from me.
All right, but just because Kate was you gals, can't wait for Kate to be on the show, huh? Are you looking forward to that?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love when Sugar comes in. Crazy's on the phone.
Yeah, that's great.
And he's like, "Oh, okay, let me
what does she want?"
Like,
I don't know. Crazy's on the phone.
I love when owner was like, "Oops."
Yeah. Yeah, Shelly was great. I love Shelly today. Yeah, unplugging the phone.
I personally liked Bob.
Oh, Bob was terrific. Yeah.
He was very...
Bob was very present.
Not like the suckiest person in the group. Usually you like the one that's like causing all the trouble.
Who does?
Bob is...
because I like Jason Davis from last season.
Right.
They whatever.
Did you like Steven? Steven... He totally apologized.
Yeah.
That was really decent.
Yeah, thank you for listening to the show.
Wow. Okay. Well, we could keep doing that. I guess that's our cue. Well, yeah. So you're done, Mr. Aggressive. Yeah. If you're done putting us down, then we can just.
That's intense.
Oh,
that's so intense, guys.
Way to go. We could have had him on the phone for hours. We could have been just chatting with him.
And then I found $5.
John, call me after the show and we'll talk.
Okay. How are you ladies doing other than that? Everything okay?
Everything's good. Doing good. Trying to stay sober.
Okay, good.
I'm excited for next week's episode too. It looks really awesome and intense.
All right. Well, listen. Before you go, just make sure you have a couple drinks for us.
By the way,
have you been
again? Quote: awesome and intense.
All right.
And where do we? Come on, just they were awesome and intense.
Thank you, ladies,
for being awesome and intense.
Thank you. You guys are awesome, except for Phil, who's just intense.
All right, onwards. All right. So, Michael Lohan.
Yeah,
he was getting a lot of compassion from me. Yeah, and now we discover that he's got a crazy.
Yeah, he's Steve this week. He's Steve from last week is now Michael this week.
Yeah, it's like there's a ghost. Yeah, and it just
goes from one to the other.
Yeah,
it's like some sort of parasite that inhabits one person each week.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's good. Because he's the exact same thing. He's compulsive now. He wants to leave. He's like, oh, jeez. Do we have to do this every week? Somebody's got to leave.
But like, okay. So speaking of, we opened up the show with obviously Amy Winehouse and how she didn't have people in her life that were great. And Bob said it best. Michael Lohan likes chaos.
Yeah.
Which I believe to be true. A lot of people like chaos.
Yeah. Well, there's adrenaline rush there. There's a reason. You get a sense of reason for your life. Well, at least if I can deal with this, then my life doesn't suck.
Mm-hmm. And there's also there's an amazing quote from Sebastian Horsley that says, misery is just as agreeable as happiness. And so in a lot of ways, that's what these addicts are. They,
they just need something.
They don't really want happiness. They want misery. And you know what? Kate is absolute misery.
Yeah. Yeah, she seems like, hey, but wait a minute. What about Sean stepping up today? Taking care of Bai Ling. That was nice.
We gotta, yeah.
Very well done. Good for her.
I wanted to relate it somehow to Blade Runner, but I just can't.
Yeah, No Way Out. Couldn't do that one either.
But yeah, no, she was, and I liked how she had. By the way, I gotta say, in that sort of meeting, the way they kind of edited it, it almost seemed like Dr. Drew didn't care about the group therapy.
Yeah.
He was more into, okay, what's happening with Bai Ling?
Yeah, and obviously was a little bit bothered by the whole thing. Yeah.
And when Sean said, let me go get her, Drew's like, yeah, go.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
No, but that's, I mean, I absolutely, that read completely genuine to me. Is like, yeah, that thing just happened. She's really distraught. I've got this going on. Somebody should go after her. I can't. So, but it was still in his mind as things were going on. But then he came back. And by the way, Bob was taking care of the group at that moment anyway, so.
Yeah,
Bob was good. Yeah, Bob was good.
Bob is always good.
He is always good. I just like his hat. I like his hair. I like his voice. It just cracks me up.
He is good.
He is good. And Jeremy, we gave him a line today, not just a look.
They did. What was his line?
I don't know. He was talking about somebody on the phone about how, it's family week. You're going to come visit, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seriously, when is this guy going to show up? I mean,
well,
I know.
Week.
Yeah, I know, but he's barely there.
He's always, you know what, in editing, this is more of a filmmaking thing, you always want a nice reaction. And you know what? Sometimes when you can't edit around the scene or whatever it may be, who do you go to? Jeremy's reaction.
Exactly. Jeremy is just a reaction. That's all he is.
He's always got something.
Yeah.
Whatever you need. Dumb, founded,
baffled, flummoxed. Yeah.
Silenced.
Yeah, there he is.
Anyway, so, I mean, did we have a hint at this that he was calling Kate? That he was
this is the first we'd heard of it. They say that they've been dealing with listening to him on the phone 3, 4, 5 times a day.
I forget the whole. First off, because they never really explained the rules at the beginning.
Yeah.
Of like the house.
Yeah.
And as obviously we understand it, they've gotten their cell phones taken away.
Yeah.
Apparently they get them back for family weekend to call.
Him, yeah.
But yeah, I guess they have a house phone, and that's how it works. If you know the number, you can dial it.
I guess that's it.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, first off, I gotta say, a rehab center should have a private number. Kate should not just be able to dial at will the number.
Direct line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be like...
Should it go through a switchboard or something?
No, it should look exactly... No, because you can buy like a company number, or you can buy a private number, right?
Right.
I guess this works more for houses rather than companies. I don't know how it exactly works. But basically, if you have... I mean, every phone now has caller ID, but it would appear as like 111111, or just say private number. So
it would have blocking on it.
Exactly. So I think that's what the rehab center needs.
Who knows? Maybe they did call into a reception or something. They just transferred them over. I don't know.
The point is, I don't like Kate. All right?
Well, just say that. Talking about the phones.
Oh, well, you know what? She should not be allowed to call in that many times.
Yeah, there should be a limit, I would think. You could maybe 2 a day at the most.
I mean, you want to talk about rules, Michael Lohan? We'll talk about rules. This is going to be like prison.
Yeah, exactly.
You will have 10 minutes on the phone a day, if that.
No, I was in prison. This is nothing like prison.
Well, you know what? Now we're making it like prison.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Yeah, we was talking to Shelly and he said, well, those are the rules. Hey, we make the rules. This is our rehab. We can make whatever rules we want.
Exactly.
So, you don't like it? Because when he said, he was saying, well, I'm going to walk or whatever before they got into the craziness, I would have loved for Shelly to go, there's the door. I'm just like, what is the big oh, you're going to hurt us by walking out? There's the door. Leave.
Yeah, I don't think they were allowed to say that.
It's a privilege to be there. I mean, you know how many people want that spot?
No, I'm sure.
So if you don't want to be here, if your rehab isn't important, your sobriety isn't as important as some stupid rule, get out.
Well, that's what he's half doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting out of there. And Doc goes after him.
Yeah, Doc, nice. I thought that the way they promoted that, it looked like that was getting heavy too, but it turned out to be not.
So
that
what is Kate's deal? I mean, do you guys really? I'm not.
It seemed they're calling her an alcoholic or a user.
But okay, she's an ex-fiance.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's an ex. Let's just call her what she is, and she's an ex, right?
Well, it seems like they're still in a relationship. They just may not be getting married. I don't know what that means.
I believe she has a car, and that's what he really cares about, right?
But they can. What I mean by in a relationship, you don't. If you're an ex and you just have a car you're dealing with, you're not calling 4 or 5 times a day. They're in some
very
weird...
revealing how they opened it up. The first time they ever showed us anything of that, it's Michael calling her and saying, "Please be sober, please be sober," and everyone's thinking, "He's calling Lindsay, he's calling Lindsay, he's calling Lindsay."
Really, I didn't cross my mind.
No way. No way. That's so intense. Right, Ben? I mean, who did you think he was calling?
I don't know. Because this is like the second time I've seen the show, and
yeah, but it's Michael Lohan. Who do you think he's going to call?
You didn't think Lindsay?
No, that didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah. It did cross my mind. They were talking about family weekend. It was I thought
Diane. What's the wife's name?
I don't remember.
Deanne.
I don't know.
Diane.
I don't know.
Diane.
I don't know.
Diane.
I don't know.
Diane.
John doesn't
Anyone?
know.
All right, Diane. Diane, it is.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
intense.
go with that. That's awesome.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, all right. I do want to say, I mean, obviously, he blows up and all that, but I don't know, this episode, out of everything that happened, I like Bob.
Yeah.
Bob had the most sensibility, as always, and he said, "How can you take care of you?"
Yeah. I thought he made great points. You love chaos, everything he was saying was right on point, and it barely seemed to scratch the surface of Lohan.
But why is he still inviting her here?
Because he's an addict.
But you know she's poison.
Yeah.
Bob just talked to you about don't you need better people in your life?
Because he's an addict. I don't think he's far enough in his recovery to realize he's bringing it on himself. I mean, I can't see any other rational explanation for it.
I don't know. Well, Bob also had another great point earlier was some of you have lost your careers, lost your money, lost your families, and yet you haven't hit rock bottom.
Exactly. What's it going to take?
Like, Jesus, you make a good point, Bob.
That's the other thing I liked when they were talking about aren't you tired of it? Because everybody in there is just got to be exhausted living that life.
It is tiring.
Stephen was.
Yeah, Stephen was. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about.
You know why? Because drugs actually, they make you tired, too.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Like, honestly.
The after effects and dealing with all that nonsense. Oh, forget it. So the first time, well, it was 2 weeks ago, I think we had the family story.
Yes.
About the kid. And that didn't quite have the impact that they would hope it would
not
have
of season 4.
Right. What about these stories? Did that have more of an impact, less of an impact? Was it? Because I thought these stories were very effective.
I thought they were a lot better because this was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, and again, the stories earlier of those families were fine.
Yeah.
It was just in the context. I just remember the intense story of season 4.
Right.
And they were just so similar in that regard that those fell short, unfortunately,
Yeah,
story-wise.
Yeah.
Pure
I
story.
completely understand that.
They of course have my sympathies, and so this was different, and therefore, this resonated emotionally.
Yeah. I mean, the guy with the father and showing him the heroin and when the kid was 7, and he just wanted to be with his dad.
Yeah, if holding heroin meant I got to do that, then holding it,
Exactly. And then he said, but my dad told me never try heroin, so that's the one drug I didn't try.
PCP.
So his dad should have said, "Don't do any drugs," but no, he said,
LSD.
"Don't do it."
Those are fine, but
Yeah,
don't try heroin.
And I understand that because I had a brother that's the same thing to me, so I understand. Don't do this. Yeah, so I got that part of it. I also liked I just felt really bad for the father who and his daughter said, "Don't go away, don't come back." Just that's gotta kill you. It's gotta cut right through. I can't even imagine that.
Almost as bad as having your son and wife killed right in front of you.
Yeah, that. I mean, all of it was just jeez.
Yeah. So who do you guys feel like was the most affected out of our guys?
Oh, out of our guys? I don't know. Well, Sugar, man, she's got the fountains going, man. The floodgates are open.
She's
she
been
cries at
affected since day one.
Yeah,
remember since the equestrian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stuff.
So it's stuff really. She really wears her heart on her sleeve, and I think she's just open to it. I think in a good way. I think she's not closed down and shut down. That's what I was thinking by saying that. I don't know who was most affected. I can't tell from the. Must have been Jeremy.
Always Jeremy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he seems the one that of all of them, he's the one who's most shut down. It's the way they've edited it, the way they're showing it. It looks like he's just completely disaffected by all of this.
Yeah, I think from the way he appears, it's okay. Let me listen to these stories. I can draw sympathy towards them and empathy, but it's not really my problem at the end of the day.
Yeah,
not me.
So, but I can't.
I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah. So, who would you think was most affected by these things?
I don't know. I guess they didn't really focus on that too much. I gotta say, in terms of the people that have seemed most open, as of late, Amy, right? That's her name.
Amy Fisher.
Yeah,
sure.
Amy Fisher. Sean Young.
Yeah.
In some sense, I don't know. I feel like Sean wants to be open, but then there's times I feel like she doesn't do anything. Except, but again, today with Bai Ling, so she was able to open up in that regard. So I don't know. I still haven't figured her out quite yet.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of time.
So I guess Sugar. I'm just gonna go with the safe answer.
I don't know. I think Doc with his kid last week was pretty good. This week, I didn't see as much of him, but
yeah.
And again, what's nice to see is that they're past the point where they're so self-absorbed that they're not trying to help each other. I mean, like Doc and Steve trying to help Mike, Sean helping Bai Ling. I mean, they all seem they're in it together now. That's what it seems like where they are now in their process. They're trying to help each other.
Yeah, and I think obviously we don't see a lot of the group sessions, but I think that's when you really connect and form those bonds and friendship, whatever.
And how about this guy? Was it George? What was his name? Father George?
The founder?
Yeah. I mean,
something like with a G?
Yeah, that's right, Father George. And her story at the end there, I mean, that was a nice thing. She's sober for 7 months. The best thing in her life. Best thing ever in her life, I think. Man, tough stories. Good for them turning their lives around. That's nice.
Yes, indeed. Well, unless you guys have any other comments, that's kind of the episode. Do we have any tips for staying sober? How to figure out if someone's drunk? Any of the kind of usual stuff that we give?
Let's see. Figuring out if somebody's drunk. No, I don't. If they're falling down, throwing up in your living room, I'm gonna say they're drunk.
Or they have the flu.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it.
All right. The falling down part too?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that, why don't we go to commercial and then we'll just go straight to predictions.
All right, on.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig will come out. When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on.
But I'm using my...
Oh, that's so intense. Can we just talk about how intense? Oh my God, that is intense.
This music is intense.
This is Amy Winehouse.
Yes, it's a fitting tribute. Thank you.
But it's just awesome and intense.
Yes, it is.
It's interesting.
And hey, speaking of crazy, no, that's probably not the right.
No,
time
go
for it.
ahead.
That's the Norway thing.
Norway.
The whole the big tragedy in
The
Norway.
whole, you know, shooting, explosion.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Over 90 people.
Are you just learning about this?
He knows nothing.
Yeah, I'm not really dialed in.
Which is why we're not going to be discussing it right now. I'll tell you about it after the show.
Apparently, there was 90 people that died in
It's
Norway.
over 90. Let's do predictions.
All right. So next week, we've been wanting to see more of Jeremy, and apparently that's all I have. Jeremy, I have in my notes. I don't know if this is true. Jeremy hits on wife. The husband says, "I will kill you, Jeremy."
I will kill you where you stand.
And that seems fun.
I think Michael will stay.
Yeah, because we saw him.
I think he'll walk out the door, or he might not even make it to the door, and he'll decide, you know
What's
what,
that
I'm
song?
gonna stay.
Walk out that door, don't come back no more, no more, no. Right? What is that? What do we got, Jesse? What's that song?
Hit the road, Jack.
Beautiful.
Yeah, hit the road, Jack.
Hit the road, Mike.
Yeah, that's
So-
what we got to go out on.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
You get me
so
that
do you
song.
think Kate's gonna be there?
Oh, Kate, yeah.
We didn't see her in the promo.
Oh, she will. No, we did.
No, we didn't see Kate.
She wasn't.
She was not in the promo.
No. Who's that blonde chick?
Was it her?
I didn't see a blonde chick. What
Right.
blonde chick?
The
Oh,
blonde
that was his daughter.
Whose daughter?
Lohan's, not Lindsay.
No way.
Isn't there another one?
I don't know. No, that was Kate.
That wasn't Kate. That wasn't Kate. I don't think it was. It looked like
It
somebody
might have
else.
been Kate.
I don't
Kate
think it
will
was.
be there. Does this matter?
Well, I'm trying to get a prediction because I didn't see Kate in the promo. I saw the blonde woman, but I don't think
You
that
know what?
was Kate.
Pasadena Recovery Center is going to follow the rules. All right? And they're going to let Kate in.
Okay. We follow the rules per Michael Lohan.
Yeah, exactly. Rehab.
Rehab.
Rehab?
Rehab.
All
Hello,
right.
Rehab.
Well, I guess
I
mean,
predict someone is going to get upset and threaten to leave.
That's right.
There we go.
Well,
Speaking of hitting the road, guess where we're going?
damn right. Well, thank you for listening. We've had a great time. Hopefully, you've had a great time too. Let us know how we're doing by emailing us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. We appreciate the good and the bad, and sometimes the ugly too.
Oh, I was gonna.
Well, come on, you got to jump in.
You got to jump right in, buddy.
No,
It's
my
timing.
brain takes it too long.
It's all about timing, brother. Anyway, so we've had a lot of fun. And for those
don't
of you
do
listening,
drugs.
don't do drugs. And if you're still in school, or, you know what, even if you're out of school, when someone says, "What do you think?" give something better than "That's awesome," "interesting." Basically, don't give a one-word answer, okay? It makes you look stupid. You think you're I don't know what you're thinking. Because you know what? You're not saying anything. You're just saying it's intense.
Make this more intense. Start slamming things. Smash
Stay
your mug.
tuned for Phil Svitek's pet peeves.
Anyway, and as always, you know what? I get intense because I'm very passionate. We're very passionate. All of us here at AfterBuzz are very passionate. So whether you like Just Celebrity Rehab or any other show, continue listening and tell your friends. That's all we want.
Love to hear from him.
We just want more eyes and ears, as we say, and so that's what we're all about. So let your friends know word of mouth is the best way to advertise, and you know what? We love that. We love getting fan mail that says, "Hey, I found out from a friend about you guys. You guys are fun." Anyways, it's been fun for us. Tune in next week.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later and sober up.
Buzz.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.